Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we proudly present our spectacular show of podcast magic and imagination full of Disney wonder, news, and pop culture. It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast with Jenn Dave and David Dollar.
Well, hey, Jen.
Hey, Dave.
It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast. It is a busy week at the Main Street Local here. You and I are just I feel like sometimes we talk to each other like 4 times in a day, and other times we're 2 ships passing in the Instagram night and just,
basically,
at the Facebook Messenger night.
Like, here's a meme.
Pretty much like here, look, it me, and send you the gift or send you the meme or whatever, and then you send the smiley faces, and then it's that's our communication. And so we were recording late on a Wednesday afternoon, and so any Disney news that would have broken have already broken today. I'm sure that Josh will wait until tonight to bring something big, like, hey, Villains Land opening date or something like that. I don't know.
Hey, there's a storm supposed to hit tomorrow. No news coming out tomorrow.
That's true.
Probably.
That's
maybe.
true. That's true. We'll get to that. But Jen, how did you Disney this week?
Oh gosh, this week. What did I do, Disney? I registered officially for the Disney Treasure preview in December, which will be after the Star December getaway. I'm just kind of staying straight.
Right. It's true. I mean, it's just, you're just continuing on and on and on. I mean, it's nonstop for you, which is pretty amazing. Nonstop. So that's pretty crazy. So I remember last week I talked about seeing The Rescuers as part of my movie goal. I finally started, have not completed, but I've started Rescuers Down Under.
Yay!
So we'll get there. I'll give an update more, I guess, more of next week.
It's so cute.
They're cute. I love Bianca and Bernard together. They're just so cute together.
Aren't they adorable?
And I think I love them because she's so elegant and just proper, and he's just so like goofy and awkward, whatever. And I relate to that. The elegant and proper part. I relate to that. I'm on that level. That's me, you know. So, but
I like that, yeah.
Yeah, it's been. I think for both of us, it's been a crazy week booking stuff and doing stuff with clients and such. And of course, it is the holiday season because dining is 60 days out for dining,
right?
And so when clients do dining, or we help clients with dining or whatever, now we're looking at November, Thanksgiving week, December, and it's just crazy. I spent. Of course, there was a glitch this week. Yesterday morning,
this week,
Tuesday morning, I got up.
Yeah.
And at 4:45 in the morning, at 5 o'clock, I'm online, and it won't let me process payments. And I don't understand what's going on because the card's supposed to work, and I find out it's across the board, like company-wide, lightning lanes are not working, and nobody can make payments or whatever. And so I had to get on the phone later. Spent 2 hours on the phone working on MDEs that were not cross-referenced correctly. Yeah. So I'm in the car driving to piano, and the guy was like, "Are you ready for this confirmation number?" I'm like, literally notebook in my seat or on my lap with a pen, like watching the road, blindly writing in big letters 3, 6, 4, just not even looking at it, hoping it's correct because it's just all scratchy and stuff, whatever, which I was very happy about. But yeah, it's been a busy week. But in case you guys are listening and you noticed, that runtime is much shorter than the last few episodes have been. Last few episodes have been like an hour. This is like 25 minutes. Guess what?
The function of the week, folks.
We did it for you people. But we're gonna jump on some news real quick. So Epcot. Star-Lord is coming to Epcot, which is kind of fun because he's only been in Disney. Well, he was in Hollywood Studios long ago.
No, he was in Epcot for Galaxy. Oh, shoot, what was it? It was like the Rewind. Like they did like a dance party in the American Pavilion.
Was that
he and Gamora?
Okay, because I remember him being at Disneyland for Mission Breakout. Now I'm not saying he wasn't, but I don't remember him being in Epcot.
He wasn't greeting; he was in a show.
Gotcha. Okay, that's right.
Yeah, does that make sense?
The Guardians of the Galaxy Awesome Mix live show in 2019.
That's what it was.
Was supposed to return in summer 2020, but some stuff happened. I don't remember what happened.
Oh yeah, I don't know what that was.
I do remember, I believe it was him and Baby Groot were meeting in like 2017 at the Women's Dream preview area where we had the characters and stuff. But anyway, he's coming back now to Epcot where he will be meeting.
Yes.
And he's a face character, and it's really tough to do face characters because sometimes they nail it and sometimes they just don't. And I don't think I've ever seen a Star-Lord that looks like the Star-Lord that I know from the movies.
In California.
Which, of course, I'm thinking Chris Pratt. I mean, my goodness, but it's hard to replicate that.
True.
But yeah, it's no, I'm just saying like it's hard to find a guy that looks like Chris Pratt. So I'm not saying like
it's accurate. Like
at least
he's got a
Gamora has the
distinct
benefit
look.
of having the green paint on her face, so at least that covers up some of that.
Yeah.
But anyway, end of September, no date exactly specifically, but he is coming back the end of September. Jen, have you seen Inside Out 2 yet?
Yes, I saw it on the Disney cruise this
Oh,
summer.
that's right, you did see it.
I
Well, now's your
love
chance
Inside Out too.
to see it again. You can see it streaming online on Disney Plus.
It was
just
so
hit Disney
good.
Plus. It's wonderful. I would like to think it's going to win the Oscar for Best Animated Film. However, there is one movie coming out in a few weeks called The Wild Robot, which is getting tons of acclaim. People are comparing it to The Iron Giant, which people
people really like
that movie from way long ago. That is a masterpiece. It's a great film. Iron Giant's great. Wild Robot, I'm hearing wonderful things about, so I really think it's going to be an Inside Out 2. A Wild
Inside
Robot
Out 2 is just such a beautiful story.
It's great. It's just such a good depiction of growing up, of childhood, of anxiety, and all that. So I love it. I love it. Coming also to Epcot, and one of our favorite attractions, the Glimmering Greenhouse Tour. Now, of course, you know that every December they do in Epcot the Glimmering Greenhouse. I'm trying to say this carefully. The Glimmering Greenhouse, where it's not just walking through. I'm not just taking the boat through, but everything's like. I mean, the ride is still there, but everything's lit up. There's all kinds of Christmas lights everywhere, and there's glow lights everywhere.
I love it during Christmas.
It's wonderful.
The living
at night. Now, at the daytime, it's not as much because you look over and sand, and the lights are kind of faint because all the sun's coming through the greenhouse and stuff.
I mean, it's still very festive.
Yeah,
but
half the ride is the same. Once you get past the bison and the house, which I want to climb up in that house so badly. I know it's a facade. I've heard stories about there being like actual rooms in there. I don't know.
I don't think there really are.
I want to go into the house so bad. It looks so just peaceful, and I'm like, I want to live there.
Well, actually, no. You know what? I think in a couple of them there are, because from Garden Grill, when it's rotating, you can see in the window of some of the upper stories. One room. I thought, or at least partially.
Well, that would make sense because you see the backside of that house.
Yeah.
Honestly, I want to go back to Garden Grill now for that specific purpose. And knowing me, I would forget about it. I would be eating. The house would be coming up. I would see the characters. I would get more food. I would look over, and the house was behind me, and I'd be like, because do you know the rotation on that? Like how long it takes to rotate? 30 minutes, an hour, 20 minutes?
I used to know, actually. It's close to an hour. I used to know the exact number, but it's close to an hour. And my favorite hidden Mickey is in that ride.
Is it? Okay. What's the Elevator of the Land or Garden Grill?
Garden Grill.
Okay, where is it?
So if you have done if you're walking in, like you're walking up the ramp,
right?
And you go to the left, looks like leaves and everything painted in a mural on the wall. There is a Mickey behind a palm frond. Nice. And it is a good Mickey, and it is difficult to spot. But once you find it, you will never not see it.
The best hidden Mickeys are the ones that are difficult to spot. The ones you have to work for. So you can say, I've seen it. Now that I've seen it, I'll always know.
Yeah, and it's not just the three circles. It's like a little bit of a profile Mickey. So it's really good. I think I know I have a picture of it somewhere.
I know we're talking about Glimmering Greenhouses, but back to hidden Mickeys real quick. It's like the hidden Mickey in Pirates, which is on the guy's foot.
Oh, it's so good.
Covered in dirt, but it's right there, and you really have to know where to look.
You have to look
at the right time. It's like that one. It's and also the hidden Mickey on Tower of Terror on the left side elevator when the lights come together. Every now and then it makes a hidden Mickey.
It does.
That it was impossible to get a picture of. It's just
no, you can't.
It's impossible.
You can't do it.
Impossible. So back to Glimmering Greenhouse, since you got us off track. No, they're combining it with Behind the Scenes Tour. We talked about this on the Traveling with the Stars YouTube show, but not here. Behind the Scenes Tour is basically it's a 90-minute walking tour, guided by a cast member through the back of the greenhouses. You walk through, you see where the vegetation is, you see a lot of the plants and stuff. You try one of the freshly grown cucumbers, which I'm not a big fan of cucumbers, but it was delicious, so crisp. So good.
It is. But don't get off the ride. I'm sorry, I started laughing. Like, don't get off the ride to get the cucumbers, but you can take behind this. Yeah.
Well, plus they will give you a slice of cucumber. It's not like they say, "Hey, here's the cucumbers. Go get you one." No, give you a slice of cucumber. But this is if you're ever on the
I like cucumbers,
and you see people walking kind of in the distance behind the plants and stuff. That's the Behind the Scenes tour. Well,
which
now it's the Glimmering Greenhouse tour, where they will be taking you through to learn about the crops and incredible vegetation. See the hydroponics up close, all while being close up to the brilliant lights in the 60-minute walking tour. Now, I know I said hydroponics and vegetation, and some people in the audience were like, what?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Do it. It's so much fun.
It's so
easy.
Much fun.
It's not very expensive. It's $45 per person. Booking starts September 30th, and it'll be taking place at 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. most nights from November 29th through December 30th. get a reservation for this, because I have a feeling that this is going to go on some nights we'll sell out. I mean, because it's 2 per day. That's it. Just 2 tours.
Well, yeah, because you have to do it at
so,
night. So that
yes, you have to do it at night, and they're not going to keep the park open. They're going to be giving tours at 8 or 9 o'clock. So, yeah,
right.
I'm excited about it.
And they shut the ride down typically by like 7 p.m. I feel like
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you don't do the tour, still go at night to Living with the Land.
It's still fun.
Do the greenhouse. It's a lot of fun. Speaking of a lot of fun, the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party is officially sold out.
All sold out.
All tickets are gone. And you're thinking to yourself, but I don't have tickets yet and I want to go. It's going to be harder. If you're military, you can show up day of and they have tickets for you. So that's,
yes,
if you want to go join the service, like right now, go sign up for the Army.
I don't think that'll work.
I don't know how it works. If you want to sign up for it tomorrow, maybe to hopefully get into a October 31st party, play the long game, think ahead. I don't know. And thank you for your service if that's what you decide to do. But they all sold out. You can call and see if there are tickets that are available, because sometimes people will call, cancel, move tickets, things like that. And 3 tickets, 10 tickets, 5 tickets, 2 tickets, they will come available. But you just got to get it at the right time. You just have to get it at the right time. I'm looking for a couple of tickets myself for something in a couple of weeks for the Halloween party, and I've been able to find them, and I'm calling like every day. I probably am going to start calling twice a day just to see what happens. I don't know. Maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't, but that's all I can do. Just to see if I can get it. So just know that that's now on sale. The Christmas party is still sold out day one. Believe November 8th.
Yes, the 8th.
Still sold out.
8th. I just looked at pricing for tickets.
Yep.
So.
Which you can find all these prices and all this information on the blog, uponastartravel.com/blog. Scroll down. You'll see the Jollywood information and the Halloween information and the Christmas information all there. Jollywood, no dates are sold out yet, but I do think these dates will start selling out.
I think it's going to, now that Halloween is done, and some people might be moving their trips right now because of the storm. I actually had clients who moved their trips. So I think it's going to start shifting now.
Speaking of storms, we've got one rolling in finally.
We do.
Hurricane Helene.
Finally, like we've been waiting for it. Like,
well, I mean, it's just we haven't heard much of it, which has been a great thing. We haven't heard much on the hurricane front this year, which has been an awesome thing. It's been a
which is opposite of what they predicted.
Right. You know what? I don't pay attention to what they predict in terms of hurricane season. The moment they say it's quiet, we have 10 roll in. The moment they say it's going to be a busy season, we get 1, 2, whatever. Yeah. Hurricane Helene is coming through right now. In the next day or so, it's going to be kind of flowing through the Panhandle of Florida, where the curve of the Florida
the Big Bend. Yeah.
Orlando's going to get a lot of probably storms, weather, probably some wind. It's not going to be a direct hit in the hurrine. Tropical storm hurricane. Is it a hurricane yet, or is it?
No, it is a hurricane. 11 a.m. Gotcha. The 11 a.m. run made it a hurricane, and it's slated to be a Cat 3 at this point. As of when we're recording this, I mean, who knows? It could, but it's going to be big. It's a big system. So it's going to be, and that's why, of course, I'm sure your next news item is happening, because it's going to be raining. I mean, yes, it always rains in Florida, like at some level, but like this is going to be like rain.
But there's a difference in rain and rain.
Exactly. Now, on the upside, indoor attractions will be open, and as of this point, unless they decide to cease operations. I mean, lines will be pretty low.
So bring your rain jacket, because you're gonna get soaked. I don't think umbrellas do much good and stuff like this.
No, I feel like ponchos.
Just do the poncho or whatever.
Unless you like have it like a poncho and the umbrella, just to like keep it from like hitting off of your head.
But even then, it's like you got to fold the umbrella up when you go indoors, and it's just
all drippy.
But so far, the mini golf has been canceled at Disney World. The mini golf course is
closed.
Closed and canceled. Closed. I believe they are closing Typhoon Lagoon for the day. For the next day or two for the hurricane to come through.
Well, because lightning potentially. I mean, that would not be safe.
Halloween party I say on the day you're listening to this, it's tonight, which is the 26th. We're recording on the 25th, but it is the 26th. Halloween party has been canceled. I believe that Disney said they will offer refunds to everybody. If you have a question about that, just call in or just talk to your travel agent or whatever. But those have been done. So the party has been officially canceled. So far, we haven't heard that the parks are shutting down or opening late or whatever, but stay tuned. There's a lot of Disney blogs that will announce it as soon as it's coming. There are some that will tell you the parks are closing early. There were some that will tell you, Disney ceasing operations immediately. Guests devastated. Just pay attention to who you're watching.
Look at your Disney app. It's going to tell you what the current park hours are. If they change, it's going to give you notifications.
Yes.
I mean,
Universal is the same way. I've seen Universal. They said that Volcano Bay is closing, but beyond that, they're not changing anything yet. MCO, the airport, is still open, still operational. They're not changing anything on that yet. but that may change.
But it's subject to change.
Exactly. So
Always
all this is
subject to
information at what time is it? 4:30 Central, 5:30 Eastern, and/or Kyla time. And so, so yeah, this is Wednesday afternoon. Everything may change by tomorrow. Just watch the news. Pay attention.
Yeah.
Finally, on the news here, we didn't talk about this last week, and I feel like when it was announced, I was looking and I saw this, and I'm like, did we talk about this last week? I don't remember. Wait, this was like a month ago, right? No, 8 days ago they announced the GLISTEN party is coming to Jollywood.
Oh yes,
which is an ice skating rink. They're putting an ice skating rink in Disney
I don't
World.
understand how this is happening. Okay, I'm sorry. I still don't understand. I'm excited for it.
It's going to be cool. So GLISTEN basically is going to be like an ice skating performance for the most part. It's what that means, I don't really know.
But how it's Florida, like it's not going to be freezing, like an outdoor ice rink.
And that's the question. How are they going to bring that out? I
mean, that's what I want to know.
It is. I mean, where's it going to be? I'm assuming it'll be on that stage. Well, okay. So here's my guess. Am I correct in saying they have a stage that can kind of rise up and down at Disney World, like in front of the Chinese theater, or do they move that thing in place?
I think they moved that in place.
Really? I was thinking it was up in anyway. So I feel like that's what they're going to do. They're going to kind of move it in place from backstage, and just kind of put it in front of the Chinese theater there. And they'll be like skated. I'm looking for the information on the GLISTEN event. Jollywood, of course. The Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam is coming back.
I love how we always have to say Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam.
Well, that's what it is. Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam. And they did release the Jollywood dining guide, which is going to be fantastic. Which is, let's see, let me pull it up here real quick, and I will run through that. And we'll look at our dining guide, which is the foodie guide for Jollywood Nights. Why can't I find the GLISTEN information? Jen, where'd you put it? I can't find it.
Oh, I hid it from you. I hid it from you, David.
There'll be things like the new Agent P croissant, the taco bout, a holiday cookie, the sugar cookie martini, the holiday turkey popover, and of course, the Christmas Gertie cookie.
Which I had the popover last year.
Yes. And here's the thing. With the Gertie cookie, I don't know why Disney doesn't make a plush Gertie. They would sell so many of these.
I would buy a plush Gertie. That's all.
Like, I'm looking like this guy here. This
Disney
is
make a plush Gertie.
This is my Main Street Electrical Parade little dragon. Elliot from Disneyland.
Elliot.
Turn this into a Gertie. Sell it for $15. Make it exclusive to Jollywood. I'm buying this. I'm buying it.
Oh my gosh! And like with like a little Christmas scarf.
Or put a Gertie up here
for
the shoulder pal.
Like a little shoulder Gertie. Oh,
the shoulder Gertie, or do the ears or the heads on one side and the tail's kind of coming out. And
I would totally buy a Gertie merch. I would.
I know they have Ollie the gingerbread man. That's kind of one of their.
Okay, Ollie's super cute.
Mascot.
But make Gertie.
Make Gertie mascot. So
make them friends. Ollie and Gertie can be friends, and I like it. This needs to happen.
GLISTEN, not listen, but GLISTEN. It's an all-new skating spectacular featuring international champion skaters who perform routines to beloved holiday and Disney classics as well as original songs. So that's the GLISTEN.
Okay.
What that means, I don't really know. So what'll be happening?
I just need to know how they're making an ice rink outside in Florida. That's what I need to know. Disney magic.
Anything else to throw on the news list? Anything else to bring up? One thing we want to mention real quick: hurricane. I have not been caught in hurricane. I have been caught in heavy storms, but not in a hurricane. Jen, have you been caught in a hurricane before?
I did I was through a tropical storm. I was attempting to get to Florida during a hurricane. That was fun.
I do remember 2022 during
Epcot 40.
We were all trying to get down there, and it was all a big mess because we all had plans to get together, and things were canceled back and forth. It's over. And it's nuts.
I will say this though. I've had clients who've ridden out storms. I know people who've ridden out storms. The day after a tropical storm or hurricane, I mean, actually for a couple days after, it's gorgeous.
Yes.
The weather is like perfection for a couple of days. So
absolutely.
The day after Matthew, and Matthew was bad for Disney. It closed the parks for like 2 days. And there was a lot. I tell you what, though, we flew in that morning. You could barely tell. Like they had done so much cleanup already by the time we got there. And it was the first day that it had reopened, and the weather was perfection.
So if you know a hurricane is coming, obviously a lot of people want to go home. So they do it the best they can to catch flights, do what they need to do, talk to your travel agent if you book flights through them, talk to us, whatever. Sometimes people can't get out. Maybe the airport's closed,
absolutely.
or maybe there's no flights available, there's no cars available. You're stuck at Disney. I will say this.
It happens.
The buildings themselves, the resorts, are probably one of the safest places to be in during a hurricane. I'm not saying it's safe to be in a hurricane, but if you're there, because of the way those buildings are built, because hurricane season didn't start.
Well, they built it to
2004. They built it
withstand.
exactly. They built for this, and they've done refurbishments and upgrades and things like that to all these buildings. So being in there, obviously paying attention to safety regulations, which resort tells you, you're gonna be okay. You're gonna be safe. I think for the most part. Some tips for people who are caught at the resort during a hurricane. Like hurricanes coming through for the day, the parks are closed. What do you do?
So, I mean, if you know, okay, first of all, and I love, if one of our favorite people to follow at Upon a Star is Dennis Phillips, weatherman, who's based out of like Tampa Bay area. And I love following him during a hurricane because he is so spot on for the most part. Like he's a realist, like, but he's not going to sugarcoat anything, but he's also like not going to be like, oh my gosh, like, everything's awful. He calls it being stalked by a turtle. So that a weather system is coming. And if you're like, but it's true. It's like, okay, so we are going to decide to ride out this hurricane, or, maybe for whatever reason, you're riding out the hurricane, buy extra snacks. Okay. Disney will make arrangements to get you food, somehow, whenever it's safe for cast members. And if you are, I'm thinking in like somewhere with outer buildings, right? That doesn't have, you're not all indoors where you can walk around. Going through the weather could be more challenging. Like they make arrangements for like box lunches and, things like that, but have extra snacks on hand. Yes. Maybe if you buy some games or a cart, make sure you have, now Disney has generator systems, etc. Make sure your devices are charged. Okay. Make sure you've got backup batteries, make sure everything's charged. And I will say, if you are in a location, I'm just use Wilderness Lodge as an example, because everything's indoors, right? Like, unless you're in Boulder Ridge, right? Everything's indoors. Sometimes they will have like little hurricane party things to do indoors as much as possible. Like characters will show up sometimes. They do have a hurricane crew ride out crew where they will, they're going to be in the hotel 24/7 with you until the system passes. But they are well prepared. Just pay attention to what they're telling you to do. And I will say this, Floridians in a storm, like from across, like if, right now people from the Bay Area or, the Big Bend, they might be traveling down to Disney because of how well built everything is. Because it is inland. I mean, let's be real. Once you get past, like they're not like, yes, the roads can flood, but they're not worried about storm surge because they're not on the ocean. Like you can't see the ocean. You're not near the ocean. So you have all of that land mass to slow down. I think, was it Matthew was one of Idalia, one of them hit, but it was still a 1 by the time it got there. I don't think it was even a 2. So like things slow down by the time it gets to that center mass of Disney. And just know that, they will reopen as soon as possible. Usually we see Disney Springs open first. Those restaurants off, obviously the restaurants inside the resort, but pack snacks. Get extra snacks.
I believe it was, and this is 20 years ago, where 4 hurricanes, Charlie, Francis, Ivan, and Jean, came through Florida all in like a couple of weeks. Do you remember that? Do you remember this?
I do remember this.
It was like hurricane. Holy crap, just over and over and over. I do remember that it was just, and I want to say that was maybe Francis or Charlie was the big one. I don't remember which one. I think
there was one. They talk about. I think it depends on where you're located. Certain people remember Francis, and certain people like Charlie. Like
And I know there was one of them. Basically, the eye came directly over Disney World. Like the whole thing came straight through Florida. It's crazy. No, with being caught in a hurricane, we have one of our great agents, Meredith, who was there for a couple of days, caught in a hurricane 2 years ago. She and her best friend played games. They were at Coronado Springs. They spent several nights together, and if you can,
they were the tower. Friend, they were in Grand Destino
Tower. If you can have a best,
so you could like walk. Yeah, that's
entertain yourself like she did. Great. If not, whatever. Pack your patience because the cast members are going to be doing the best they can. They also have to get home. Yeah. They also have to figure out where to go to. So they're having to eat. If they can't go home, they have to eat. Yeah. They have to sleep. That kind of thing. So I've seen pictures of lines that are like 3 and 4 hours long at the customer service desk trying to deal with your tickets and deal with we're supposed to check out tomorrow. We're supposed to check out yesterday. What happened? Pack your patience. If it's not urgent, if it's a ticket thing, you can deal with the ticket thing later, then just do it the next day. Let the people who are trying to get out of town, like today, get there and do that. Hit the fuel rod stand, buy an extra fuel rod. spend $30, or $35, buy an extra one. Go ahead and rotate those out so you have 2 or 3. I've got 4 on hand at all times. So when I'm there, so have those ready. Like you said, have your chargers ready to go in case you lose power. The generators work, but there's no indication that you may have power in your room. You may not. It may just be in the lobby. And so, who knows? Of course, we're talking extreme because a lot of times Disney doesn't lose a whole lot of power.
I was going to say, I that's more of a rarity, but
right.
Hey, you know what? It can happen. So just just being ready for it. And I like that you said, pack your patience, because that's like a big, like the cast members are doing the best they can, and they live there and they don't know what's happening at their house. And like, what if their house is like, maybe they're in a flood zone. So,
right. And that's the main thing. You get to a cast member and you're angry and you're frustrated because you've been waiting 3 hours. Well, that cast member's been on duty for 8 hours now, and they've had nothing but every other person's like, fix this for me, do this for me, whatever. And it's just, you got to work together, and it'll happen. And if there's an issue and you get home and you're like, you know what, my problem wasn't solved, just call Disney and say, hey, Disney, my problem wasn't solved.
Email
guest services. Figure this out. Email guest services. Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. But this is a huge thing too, I preach this hurricane, well, not hurricane insurance, travel insurance during hurricane season. And so I had clients who were supposed to check in as of this episode today. And no, actually, literally today's this recording, but they opted because there's going to be a washout of the party. So they hadn't canceled the party yet. But they're like, what? It's fine. Like, we're just going to move everything. But had they been down there, that was the one thing. She's like, I am getting insurance. I want you to make sure that it's going to cover a hurricane. I'm like, well, this one specifically says hurricanes. So
Yep. Well, the hurricane, if you get Disney World insurance, you'll see the information. It's all there. We send it to you. And it's $95 for adults. Kids are covered free. You can make that decision whether that's going to work for you or not, or whether you want to get a different policy. That's great. But yes, travel insurance is big, especially during hurricane season, like you said.
Because then if you have to add a night because you can't get out because your flight is canceled, and well, I have to get home, so now I need to do this. Like, those are things you can submit for reimbursement for. I mean, doesn't mean you don't have to pay for them up front. Okay. Right. Like, if you got to pay, like if you got to add a night, you got to pay for it, but then you can submit something to travel insurance.
Yep. Anything else on our list, Jen? Anything else we didn't cover? We need to touch on for the week. I don't even know who's performing at Eat to the Beat this week. I know that Tiffany was there like a month ago. And so
I didn't look to see who was this week, but no, I think, we've hit all the big things, and who knows, maybe next week we'll have some more fun announcements. Candlelight processional, I'm waiting for
that too, because we're running into the times when people would be booking candlelight processional like packages and stuff, and we don't know who they're booking for. And I'm like, I hope we can, hope we're getting somebody soon. So
I know,
It looks like right now, today's the 25th, which, by the way, happy birthday to my beloved wife.
Happy
birthday!
birthday,
Her birthday is today. Right now and tomorrow is Deanne Diaz. I don't know who that is. Luis Figueroa is also coming up the 27th. Okay. Maya Ricky is coming up the 28th and 29th. Jesse and Joy is coming up the 30th. I don't know who some of these people are.
Are they some of the local acts?
They might be local.
They are putting in some of the local acts.
And Latin Ambition is through next week, first, second, and third. So some fun, different, unusual bands. Of course, our beloved co-host Kyla is going to be seeing quasi-producer Heather and friends of the show Emily and Jessica and Alexa. They're going to be down there for Joey Fatone, which, by the way, is listed.
And Kristen,
Joey Fatone,
yes.
Joey Fatone and friends is how it's listed. So who knows who will be showing up to that party?
The quasi-producer Heather, I know who she's hoping for.
Yes, she's hoping for JC. JC,
she is banking on JC.
She's banking on there being a mini NSYNC reunion there. Maybe even, like I said, Lance Bass showed up last year, didn't he?
Lance came last year and didn't.
I don't know that Chris. I don't know that JC.
No,
has. I have no idea.
No, JC hasn't. But there were some big.
Ryan Cabrera was there.
Ryan Cabrera, joined.
And then was it one of the? Am I making it up? One of the Backstreet Boys showed up. I don't remember.
Possibly.
But what else is Chris Kirkpatrick and JC doing? Nothing. I mean, it's not like Timberlake is showing up. He's got his own problems across the world. But JC and Chris Kirkpatrick, they got nothing going on.
They got nothing going on.
Epcot, make some people happy, sell some albums, be done with it. And on that note, Jen, where can we find you as you go on all your travels?
Find me at Upon a Star Jen, or my personal Instagram is at Jen_Novotny.
Perfect. Find me at The Magic on a Dollar on Instagram and Magic on a Dollar and Disney on a Dollar on Facebook. Of course, find us at Upon a Star Travel on all the places where you can see all the news and all the reels and all the videos and things like that. And of course, the MSE podcast is the place to go for all the stuff that we do as Jen and I. And yeah, this has been kind of an off the wall, frenetic, just back and forth, just little conversation episode because we had to squeeze it in before the hurricane winds blow through and before, we all get blown away.
I'm not getting a hurricane in Pittsburgh.
It's Pittsburgh. I'm sure the snowstorm is coming in pretty soon because it's Pittsburgh. And so there you go. So is it supposed to get colder anytime soon?
I mean, it's cold on and off right now. Like in the evenings, it's, I have to like knock on whatever this material is. It's been not that bad.
Our friend Kyla was like in her sweats and stuff. And she's like, it's cold up here.
Well, it's colder in New Hampshire.
Well, she lives in the Arctic Circle. So there you go. It's, it's
something like that.
Cold. It's supposed to get colder here. It's like 78, I think. So the cold front is coming
that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Nice.
For Jen, I'm Dave. This is the Main Street Electrical Podcast. Don't forget to thank your Phoenicians.
Thank you for listening to the Main Street Electrical Podcast. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at the MSE Podcast, or visit our website at themsepodcast.com. Be sure to subscribe, and may all your wishes come true.